Say goodbye to iPhone and iPad cameras, at least for the most part, because I have finally learned how to use my own Canon camera. Hopefully the audio and video quality will be better now. Merry meet everyone, welcome back to My Pagan Life! A little while ago, I made a video called Working with the Elements, in which I talked about the importance of working with the elements in general, and I told you a little bit about my personal progress. If you want to learn more, check out that video by clicking the link in the description below to watch that video. But for now, let us get into this video. Long story short, I have worked with the elements multiple times before, and I'm planning to work with them one at a time, and I've decided to start with water, because water has always been the element I have felt the most comfortable working with throughout the entirety of my practice. And so the question becomes, what have I learned since last time? That's a really good question. I actually think I've learned quite a bit. And honestly, the things I have learned have changed my entire perception of the elements and how I relate to them, especially when it comes to water. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the two main lessons that I've learned, and I'm just going to say the first one right now and get it out of the way because I've already touched on it before. Okay, so first of all, the element of water is dangerous. I'm pretty sure we have all heard horror stories about how people have died or had their lives ruined because of this element. There's drowning, there's shock due to cold, and there is flooding of natural habitats and places where people and animals live. And many more. And I have grown up in a home where we have openly talked about these kinds of things. Oh no, someone got sent to the hospital today because they were severely damaged after having spent this amount of time in this body of water, or something like that. Breaking news, a group of teenage boys spent their time beside this river here the other day, and one of them fell into the water, got pulled in by the current, and drowned. So really, this isn't anything particularly new to me. But the thing that hit me is that I don't think that enough people acknowledge this aspect of the element of water, or the elements in general, when talking about the elements in a spiritual sense. Ever since I got into Wicca and witchcraft, I was only ever told of the symbolism and how water, or the elements, can be used in spells and rituals. But I have personally come to realize more than ever before that in order to understand the elements properly, we need to go out in nature, take a look, and ask ourselves, what are these elements really like in nature? This is important that we do with all of the elements, if you ask me, but for some reason I feel the need to say that we need to do this more with the element of water because it's so easy for us to see water from a distance or not see how it actually plays out in nature or acts in nature, and because of that we can easily fall into the trap of assuming that water is just this innocent element that is soothing and all of these other good and nice qualities. When taking this particular thing into consideration, my respect and understanding of the element of water grows a lot bigger. And with this understanding and respect, I think it will be easier to take that next step into developing a relationship to this element, or any of the other elements for that matter. It can definitely apply, as I've already said, to all the other elements. So that is the first lesson. The second thing, which has been the biggest eye-opener for me recently, is that the element of water is really scary. Just to get it out of the way, I would say that this is a natural byproduct of the first lesson. When I came to this greater understanding of the element of water, I started fearing it more. Funnily enough though, I have always been the type of person who has been kind of scared of water and what is in it. Now, allow me to explain where I'm trying to get at with this point. When I got into Wicca, I researched as much as I possibly could. I looked up a lot of things, including videos on working with the elements or finding your element and, you know, all that other stuff. I realized very quickly that a lot of people were saying the exact same thing. I'm so incredibly sorry, guys. I just had to go charge the battery for this camera because it died. Yeah, those are the technical difficulties and struggles of using this camera for the first time. Well, not first time ever, but for a video, so you get what I mean. Let's just continue. Basically, I hear a lot of people say the exact same thing. If you are led by emotion and intuition, or if you're adaptable, then chances are you're the element of water. Maybe you like being surrounded by the element of water, or you like being in it. Perhaps your astrological sign is linked to water. If you are a water type, maybe you will choose to go this, or that path in life. Well, if that's so, maybe we should check it for ourselves. Let's do a bit of a checklist. Am I led by emotion and intuition? I would say I'm quite an emotional person, or at least a person who has a lot of emotion, but strangely enough, I'm actually not the best at dealing with it or acknowledging it. I dare say that I am that one friend within my group of friends who is the least emotional. In fact, I oftentimes consider myself more logical than emotional, or even intuitive. I contemplate a lot, I study and learn about a lot of things. One could possibly think of me as more of an air type of person than a water type of person. Am I adaptable? No. I am the exact opposite if you ask me. I prefer structure, and although I like new things and like to try new things, I oftentimes find myself in a situation where I find it very hard to break out of my comfort zone. Most of my friends whom I assume to be fire types are a lot more qualified when it comes to adaptability than I am. Do I like to be surrounded by water? Actually, I have to say yes for this one because I mostly do. Most often. Sometimes. If you ask me to go on a boat trip in a tiny boat, chances are I will say no. But by all means, I like sitting beside lakes or rivers to relax, you know, with the intention of relaxation and just clearing my mind. Do I like being in water? Do you even know me? I like taking showers and all that. But when it comes to going outside and physically walking into a body of water and then swimming or bathing in it, honestly, I couldn't be more terrified. Guys, what if I step in seaweed? What if I step on a crab? Or what if I meet a fish? What if? On the list of things that humankind knows the least about, it's space and it's the ocean. And honestly, that terrifies me. I would feel more at peace if I were to go into a forest, sit down, listen to all the sounds there, and breathe in the nice, fresh air than I would be if I were to go to an ocean or go into a body of water out in nature and swim around, fearing constantly what I can possibly find out there. Yes, I'm serious. I do not like not knowing what I'm about to encounter, and I don't like feeling vulnerable. And guess what? Those are the two things I'm definitely gonna feel if I'm swimming around in a lake or if I'm swimming in an ocean. But does that make me more of an earth type than a water type? Another question, would I choose, let's say, a career in which water types thrive the most? Oh, you mean like a nurse or a doctor? Maybe a therapist or something? After all, going off of the description of the water element, people that associate with this element must be in jobs or have careers that require people skills, right? In that case, despite the fact that I'm Cancer, you know, the zodiac sign, I am not a water type. Apparently. I would rather go into something that is related to business or media or something like that. Does that make me more of a fire and or earth person than a water person? After going through all of these statements, I think it's pretty fair to say that I sound like anything but a water type, don't I? And this is what I realized at some point, and it got me thinking. is water really my main element? But there was one thing that I had to take into consideration all the same, and that is my attraction to the element of water. Why do I feel so attracted to this element? Because I do. There's something special with the element of water to me, and working with it, in a sense, has always come naturally to me. But how? How does this make sense? After all of this contemplation, I have come to one conclusion. Of all the 4 elements, there is one element in particular that I have yet to learn a lot from. That element is not earth, it is not air, it is not fire. It's water. Don't get me wrong, developing a connection to the elements is something that we do over the course of a lifetime, and we do it with all of the elements. But to me personally, water is the element that has the most to offer me in terms of what it can teach me, at least at this point in my life. Can I learn to accept my emotions more, become more intuitive, and become more adaptable? Yes, and I think I should. Can I learn to become more comfortable around water and in water, and generally learn more about it? Yes, I can. Can I make these things a reality in hopes of expanding my horizons and improving my life? Absolutely. Personally, I choose to believe that the elements aren't our friends as much as they are our teachers. And sometimes learning is going to be tough, but that's just how it works sometimes. In the end, I can honestly say that I don't really necessarily relate to the elements in the way in which I am similar to them. Right now, there are things I can't see and there are things I have not learned yet, but this can change over time, and I honestly think that a lot of the things I have yet to learn, I can learn through the elements and relating to the elements. Part of developing a connection to the elements is actually acknowledging that we don't necessarily have a lot in common with them. But as I've already said, things can change. In conclusion, I would say that I've become more aware of why water is dangerous and how it is dangerous, and I've also come to the realization that there's more to me and my relationship to the elements than being similar to them. And when facing this entire challenge head-on, I can learn to become a better person. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future, and I hope to see you soon. Blessed be from My Pagan Life.